Hello, hello, hello. This is another episode of the Then and Now podcast. This is your co-host, 4K Diesel, back in the building. I have my two lovely and talented co-hosts, Mr. Lelouch V to my left, Mr. King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy, Professor E to my right. How y'all fellas doing?
We gonna, it's a thing that you can click to like unreverse your camera. So like when you point the right way, it actually goes the way you want it to go.
It won't be fun though. It won't be fun. It's not joking. We've been doing this shit forever at this point. I gotta keep doing it now for the bit. For the bit.
It is a good bit. It is a good bit. Yeah, I'm feeling all right, man. It's Sunday, and it's hot. So, yay.
Bro, this has been something serious.
Yeah, man. They try to say global warming isn't a real thing. It's like, man, you feel it this year, this summer. Yeah, this is one of the hottest summers I've experienced, and I'm further north than you are normal. So
I'm gonna need the world not to fall apart while I'm still alive. Like let me leave before you do all that crazy shit.
The thing is, you're a good generation behind me. So as long as I make it out, let me know how everything else goes behind me.
Oh God. Okay. First topic of the day, big topic of the day. Let's get into it, guys. Netflix's new movie that was released recently, Day Shift, starring Jamie Foxx. Obviously, Snoop Dogg in it as well. Carla Souza, is that how you pronounce her last name? Dave Franco. Damn. Okay. Show some respect. Obviously, Otis has feelings, so I'm gonna let Otis go ahead and kick it off on your thoughts of the movie.
Yeah, the movie is super mid, like absurdly mid. I wanted to enjoy it just because I'm a big fan of Jamie Foxx, but like everything from the plot was horribly predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Like the motivations of the characters were just like so surface level. Like, I need money to keep my family here.
Right.
Like then the third act was atrocious. Was atrocious. But we can get into a deeper breakdown. I'll let you guys go because I'm sure you guys had a higher opinion on it than I did.
Yeah, you already know. I'm Ethan.
I guess my opinion is higher. If someone's opinion is like below the street level, anything higher than that,
you're not wrong.
The thing I liked about it was, let's get into their honesty. It was fun to see Jimmy Foxx, jacked up and swole as I don't know what. There's that part where he's like,
he was fucked up, that old lady vampire. He definitely did.
Yeah, he was tearing apart. But it's always fun to watch him. It's the first time I remember seeing Jimmy Foxx as an actual like monster slayer, vampire fighter, whatever. So it's fun to watch that. It was fun to see his wife be played by Megan Good.
Oh my God,
fun! I'm sorry, add me all you want.
And Snoop Dogg, all 7 of her lines.
She didn't have. Well, the thing is, she was around a lot more than Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was like, I'm here to mac on old women, and then to die, and then not die. Spoiler alert. So it was the action was at least entertaining. Jimmy Foxx is jacked up, and Megan Good is still great. So.
Right. Before I get into my part of it, just to give people just an update on the movie itself. You don't know. Apparently, the movie is doing pretty well. It's like number 1 in like over 100 countries. Apparently, I don't know how I feel about a spinoff. I mean, low key, if we get the action, I'll say this. This is obviously a typical summer. Well, at least it's not summer anymore, but depending on where you are, it's a typical summer blockbuster. Just action. Comedy is just pretty much what it is, so I didn't take it too seriously. But for what it did provide and what it wanted to be good at, I thought it was dope. The action was top notch in this. Like the Nazarian brothers that was some of the best action I've seen in a long time. These dudes are going crazy. Like they're throwing. When homeboy cocked the bullet out of the gun and then the other dude cocked the bullet, I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, what you about to say, Otis?
You said like the one that wasn't in Shameless, he was amazing. The dude that was in Shameless, like he looked cool shooting things, but he didn't really like.
He wasn't Shameless. He was the dude, the neighbor. Yeah,
he was the husband.
He's the husband. Yeah.
Big.
And the other dude was Scott Adkins.
He was always that big. They just covered it for the show.
Really?
That's a big dude.
Yeah, he's like 6'6".
That's a big dude.
He looks skinny and Shameless though, bro. He's like
slimmer, but he's always
Brock Lesnar out right now.
Brock Lesnar. But then his brother was Scott Adkins. And Scott Adkins, for those who know action, he's like a huge action guy. He's been in I don't know how many movies. It's like him and Michael Jai White are like always neck and neck for fighting each other in movies and stuff. So it's like you could tell that one scene that you're talking about, that where it's the two of them the brothers and Jamie Foxx fighting in the hell nest of vampires, you can tell they went ham with all the choreography and everything there. And
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Jamie Foxx,
Franco.
You know,
Frank,
I didn't hate him. I didn't hate him. I'm used to like when I see James Franco and something, I know what to expect. Wasn't he in
Dave Franco? It was
Dave. My bad, Dave. Yeah. So was it Dave or James in the movie with Seth Rogen where they went to North Korea?
That's James.
That's
James. Seth Rogen. It's James.
That's James Franco. Bro, that's why they gotta be, bro. They look too much alike, bro.
Yeah, they're brothers.
They are brothers. They are brothers. The more you know. Put that little star clip. But yeah, so Dave, that's Otis did warn me ahead of time, or let me know ahead of time that it kind of has some buddy cop vibes, and with Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco. I love me some buddy cops, but Dave Franco wasn't. I didn't vibe with his character as much. It's cool that you did, Charlie. More power to you. You got a nice hat on, but Dave Franco didn't really. I wasn't vibing with him as much. So, spoiler alert. I guess we're getting to spoilers for this flick. Once he becomes a vampire and somehow doesn't die, but his head gets cut off, he was more tolerable. But it's still like a. Yeah.
But even that, like, it completely like. His whole character was there to be there to report on Jamie Foxx's character. And by like halfway through that, he was just like, fuck that. I'm just going to completely change my MO for this person I met 15 minutes ago. Like,
yeah.
There was no chemistry between those two, but they were just like so buddied up, like they had been friends forever. Like, oh, I really believe in you. I think you got really good potential as a monster hunter. Dies 15 minutes later.
I think the exact amount of time it's like 24 hours pass. It's like they hook up for their job one day. They have the one shift where they go in the bowling alley. Then like the next day, he gets turned into a vampire. So it's like about 24 hours are together. They're like buddies and best friends. It's like, good God Almighty, man! How lonely are you that you best friends with this dude who pretty much was set out to destroy your career that fast?
Like immediately said, like, fuck my goals, fuck my career, fuck Maria, because they kept saying
Maria, yeah.
Right.
Did he have goals though? I think he got them because he said he got a new chair. He was cool where he was. He's like, I got a new chair, a new new keyboard. I want to be where I'm at. I don't want to go into the field.
Yeah, he wanted to stay there. He wanted to stay.
He wanted to get Maria's job. That's what he was going for. That's the whole reason why he agreed to go out into the field with Jamie Foxx in the first place. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. I like this guy more than money and logic. And
it's Jamie Foxx, bro. What can I say? I do it.
He was jacked. He was. I mean, his wife was making good. Let's be honest.
Oh my god.
The brownie points are high. The brownie points are legit.
I'm not gonna say what I want to say because I want to get canceled.
and then somehow, like the kid in a whole car chase doesn't realize that they're in a car chase until halfway through it, and then she contributes to the car chase. Like
she took that a little too calm. She was like, "I'm done playing now. You think you need some help, Dad?" I'm like, "Bro, you getting shot at. You're not just."
It's like there are murderers after you currently. Like, have some sense of urgency, please. One scream would have made sense to me, but
yeah, it is a weird scenario where they keep on. Getting kid actors to be seem real in movies and shows is hard to do. It's weird. We watched Sandman recently, right? In that show, the little dude, won't get into spoilers, but the guy that the younger brother at the end of that series shows up, and he actually was doing some good acting, some actual legitimate acting. He's one of the standouts as far as like, oh, kids can't act in shows and movies. So.
Yeah, it's like what black household do you come up in where you can like curse in front of your parents though? Like the kid threw out a couple curse words and I'm just like,
bruh,
what? Yeah. Like what?
I turned around and looked at my mom just because I was like, I didn't say it. I promise I didn't say nothing.
Like, yeah, I am a grown man and I still don't feel comfortable with cursing in front of my mom. Just being real.
Yeah, it is weird.
I'll slip in a nigga every now and then, like a day, and be like, look real quick. Oh, cool. I got away with it. Hell yeah.
It's weird. I was actually talking to my parents. I'm literally older than my parents. That's how old I am. And I was talking about Gray Man a few weeks ago. And I was like, you remember that part where they're doing the whole big chase scene? And I was like, that's a wild shit. I called myself. I was like, I still don't feel comfortable. Don't let parents about this. Saying that word, but yeah, it's a weird thing, man. It is what it is. But what again to go up to what Dev was saying about the action, it seems that they were trying to what they've done more recently in movies, which I actually like, especially after post John Wick era, they do a wide shot and let you see the actual characters and action unfolding. They did that with Snoop Dogg, and when there's a part where Snoop Dogg and like James Franco, Old Girl, and Jimmy Foxx like all fighting a whole bunch of them together. They're all back to back and fighting. Everything is actually that's pretty cool when they do that kind of stuff. I actually appreciate that they're trying to show the actors or the stunt people, whoever it is, doing more of these things. So even in a movie like this, which is basically a B movie that would have been back in the day, they're still at least trying to put some effort in certain areas. They still made a B movie, but so it's not without its merits. It's not without its merits, but it's just like, it's got some issues. It's a little rough on the edges.
I look at movies like this like placeholders for bigger stuff, like because it probably took a lot to make this movie, but if it felt like Netflix put this out as like a placeholder, like we're working on a Stranger Things or something else in our big catalog, our heavy hitters. Here's something that everybody's gonna watch, obviously, and everybody's gonna like. And it's not that long, it's not that complicated. We got it out pretty quick. Take this, and we're cooking up the good stuff in the bag. And it's an appetizer. That's what I look at this movie as from Netflix.
I call it a please don't unsubscribe movie. That's what that was. Like, please keep your subscription, please. Yeah,
hey, it's working in it.
Because you're both right. Because I mean, out here in LA, I'm not sure if y'all have the billboards where y'all are, but I saw the billboard. It's the series of billboards that had one was like Jimmy Foxx, one behind that was Snoop Dogg, one behind was Franco. It's talking about day shift, whatever. It's like they're putting in the money towards advertising. They believe in it enough, like they'll get viewers. You just put up the post there, Dev, of it's #1 on Netflix or what have you. So it's people are watching this stuff. And you got to understand, we are going to be more critical than the general masses are. The number one restaurant in the world is McDonald's. So that should tell you that the general, the least common denominator, they just want to be entertained. They don't really care about quality as much. No offense to Big Macs. I love Big Macs.
Yeah, they're not sound like an elitist.
Yeah. I mean, it's not pretentious. It's not pretentious.
Do you guys think that's a secret formula? I know we talked about it before with Netflix versus HBO and how Netflix is staying afloat. Do you think this is the secret to like them making money still and them still functioning? Is just they give these movies out that they have a formula. They know what actors they get and what directors they put on it because they get people to watch these. Because again, it's #1 in 100 countries, so it's 100 countries where everybody's consuming this content like it's candy.
Right.
And it's just a throwaway movie for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like it is like you said, they chose Snoop Dogg, they chose Jamie Foxx. It's a vampire slaying movie.
They also chose Dave Franco.
Yeah, they chose vampires, Snoop Dogg, and Jamie Foxx. That alone, those three things alone are like a formula for some people are going to watch.
And also, like you're saying, it probably wasn't nearly as expensive as even like an episode of Stranger Things season 4 or whatnot. So it's like they could make this affordably. Because, like you said, it's a placeholder until they get Gray Man #2 or Stranger Things season 5 or whatever else, the bigger things they have coming down the pipe.
Right. Looking at it from me looking at the movie again, I could be wrong. People in the comments correct me. But a majority of the stuff, it looked like the most money went to like explosions probably, and maybe some CGI. But even then, it didn't look like there was a lot of CGI. Most of the effects looked practical. Those practical effects, stunt coordinators was this movie to me.
Yeah, it was more. It clearly the money went towards the choreography and the fighting, and it's
the most expensive scene in that is easily that car chase scene with car playing Mario Kart.
Because that didn't look like there was a lot of CGI for the car explosion. I mean, maybe there's some explosions, but it was still like there were real practical crashes and whatnot, which is actually fun. I mean, I'm glad they did that.
I think that's part of why I like it so much. This movie is just so practical in general to me, where the action was fun to watch. There wasn't a lot of cutaways. Everything was one shots. Usually the action was cool. Everything was practical. There wasn't a lot of CGI stuff in there. Yeah. And it was, I thought some of the jokes were funny. I guess humor is obviously subjective. So I thought a lot of it was funny. Y'all may have thought differently. It got the job done for me. If the action was cool, it was funny to me.
I did appreciate Jamie Foxx's material, his jokes and stuff. This is the kind of movie, like you all know one of my favorite movies all the time is Big Trouble in Little China. If again, I hate to keep bashing Franco, but if that character was written better, was different, and they had a better chemistry between the two of them, I would have given this some higher scores. Speaking of which, we got to score this movie too.
Yeah, right. We get to the honestly, so a couple things. Like one, this is one of those movies that if you turn your brain off, you can really enjoy because there's a lot of fun things happening on screen. Like the Nazarian brothers are hilarious. Jamie Foxx had some nice one-liners. Franco was there. Honestly, the biggest issue with the movie to me is actually Franco, because everything about his character is almost contrary to the rest of the movie. it's about like the movie is essentially about the hunters, the people that are out there on the field. This is the guy that's not out from the field, and I guess like trying to get his feet wet in it because of the situation. But like literally, his entire goal of the movie, he goes away from almost immediately. Like everything that was supposed to motivate him, at least in my mind, about how his character was supposed to act, he did the opposite of it. So like there was never like, of course in the buddy cop scenario you're gonna have two characters that come from opposite backgrounds and they find a commonality in the end. But like it's like they skipped his steps for getting to that end. It's like, oh, you're here and now you're there. While Jamie Foxx, he had the progression. Like he's like he actually did care for James Franco's character. You saw that. I mean, he was an important thing to him. But like I don't know, just nothing about those two characters together really felt right ever, and
it could have. In better hands, it definitely could have. Another thing too, real quick before we gotta give our girl some love. You mentioned her, the actor who played her in the earlier. She was awesome. She was on screen for a very brief amount of time, but the female vampire was awesome. Here's my question: why did she turn against the other vampires? Why did she turn against her maker? It's like, isn't that a big thing to turn against your maker? Why are you now cool going against elders that are way above your pay grade? Why aren't you trying to kill Jamie Foxx? Why did Dave Franco decide not to kill Jamie Foxx after he got his head cut off? It's like these are things that are essentially plot holes in your flick that someone got paid to write. Someone got paid a lot more than I will ever get paid probably to write. So these are questions that I have, and I would have approached it probably differently. I would still done the buddy cop thing, but maybe have it that there's a more by the book hunter teamed up with a loose cannon hunter. Via or sans Lethal Weapon style type of thing, done that way instead.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying this just honestly just felt like they cut a lot of stuff out. Like the biggest contributing factor to that to me is that at the end where like Dave Franco and Jamie seemed like they're really buddy, like they spent months or weeks together. Like it seemed like they cut out a couple days in between that. Because again, like you said, like Otis said, they got close really fast. I'm like, we had to be missing something, or like maybe like a couple scenes of them in the car together talking, or there's something we're missing there. And even with the dialogue, it seemed like they try to either there's a lot of exposition or information setting up, like
a lot of exposition dumps.
There were dumps.
Like they just because they were trying to fill in the gaps.
Unnecessary dumps too. It's like don't you know all the 5 different classes
types,
of hunters?
Right.
Yeah. There's your mom's type. There's your daddy's type. So we don't care about all this crap. It doesn't really matter.
Crawlers.
There's elders and there's everyone else is a submissive. That's it.
I feel like they were trying to set up a sequel. Like we're getting a sequel. I was probably getting a sequel. The amount of money he's going to make is probably getting one.
It probably will. Yeah. All right. So because we got to move on to our other ones too. So
let me real quick. Let me answer Austin's question real quick. Or address this comment. I partially don't agree. At the same time, let me pull it back up again. Austin says that he thinks money was wasted on the big name actors, and they should have got to spread the money around to a bunch of lower name actors. I agree with that partially, but at the same time, I don't know if the movie would have been as successful without the big names for this one in particular, because again, the whole
was not in that. I wasn't watching this movie.
Yeah, they marketed this movie like the marketing was Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg, James Franco. Like they really ever like
that was marketing. Was those three?
Was them? Yeah,
that was it. So
they're in a comedy. That's the marketing for me. And I think a lot of people watch that because those guys are big stars.
And again, Dave Franco. We keep saying.
Did I say James again?
Yeah, it's Dave Franco, or just say Franco. Just say Franco. Don't worry.
In my head, I'm saying Dave. I guess I'm going crazy.
Yeah,
Franco.
That's all right, man. It's all right. But yeah, I mean, Austin. Yeah, I see what Austin is saying, and I get it. But it's for something like Netflix, it does help having a star vehicle, having someone name attached to it. It gives it a pedigree.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's go ahead and rate it. We'll start. Let's left to right with Otis.
If I had to, it's a 5.
Is it a 5?
Mm-hmm, it's a 5.
So dead on mid. Yeah.
I give it like a 6 or 6.5.
I give it a 6. Maybe a 6.5. Let me get some more Megan Good footage in those spans.
Part of this too, I will say, I liked a lot more because when I watched it when I was with the homies, like I was with my friends. Oh yeah, I watched it in a group. I didn't just watch it by myself.
Fair.
So we were like as a group laughing at a lot of the jokes, or like we would make comments and shit here and there.
Okay, that's a real thing. So this was a movie I'm pretty sure Otis and I watched more or less by ourselves or with our girls, what have you. Mm-hmm. If this was in a theater, especially with a bunch of black folks and blurs and stuff, it probably would have been like, because I saw Soul Plane in the theater. And I was like, I know it's not a good movie. I know I saw Snakes on a Plane in the theater. I know these are bad movies, but I saw them with a whole bunch of people around me and we were laughing and stuff, and it changed. It kind of made it more enjoyable. So I feel like if this was a actually in theater film, it could have been,
I wasn't paying $20 to go see this in theaters.
No, but I mean, if you just say that if it was like a free come see this movie, all you do is pay for your popcorn kind of a thing, I imagine it would be received. We probably had a more fun time watching. Or if we're just drunk off our asses, probably a bit more fun too. So yeah.
Y'all keep reminding me to watch movies while I'm here, because every time you say $20 for a movie, I'm just like, $20. Oh my god, I'm not paying over $6, sir. $6 is my limit.
All you can do is shave off that beard. You can say you're a student forever, and they'll give you the student discount wherever you go.
Hopefully. Yeah. But I said, moving on. Speaking of beards, you know what else have beards? Dragons, bearded dragons in particular. So let's move on.
Bring the game footage up.
I thought I had bad segues. I do have bad segues, and I'm in awe, sir.
I wanted to do a segue, but I was like, damn, I waited way too long to try to think about this segue. I was like, it is what it is. Yeah, for this gameplay footage I'm about to throw on the screen. Obviously we're doing Hunters today, so I just obviously wanted to pull up a game that I played a long time ago with on the original Xbox that my grandpa used to have. Is I think Blade 2, the game that went with the movie. Right. So it's older. I remember it being a lot more fun, but I don't know how good it is.
You can look at those graphics and tell, oh, this is not recent.
Yeah. The combat was surprisingly kind of like advanced for the time. There was like countering in here and weird shit like that, and different types of guns. I don't know. Yeah, it's the whole thing. But yeah, getting into House of Dragons, obviously it's coming out pretty soon. I think a lot of people are already still kind of burnt from before with the original Game of Thrones. Me watching. So do you remember that guy I told you? This is free promo for him. John Solo did on YouTube. I introduced a video to Ethan, but he recently did a video on House of Dragons and kind of got into the source material that Game of Thrones came from in general and just like the history of dragons. And one thing he talked about in the video that I didn't even think about before now is that they're going to be like they's confirmed they're going to be like 20 plus dragons in the movie. And these dragons are all going to have personalities. So that's my biggest thing going into this show. If these dragons that they're making are essentially like characters and have they don't all have to talk like Smaug from Lord of the Rings, but if they have personalities and they're like part of the story as well, I think that has potential to be a whole other dynamic that can make the series really good. Having not just humans, but these things that are all powerful that we saw from the original series. Now you have over 20 of them, and they all have personalities and relationships with people.
So what you're saying is, if the show focuses at least somewhat on the dragons and their personalities, as opposed to just the people machinations of what's the Targaryens?
Targaryens.
It could be could feel like a different type of show. Which is interesting. That's an interesting angle. Yeah.
Essentially, it's pretty honestly. After I heard that, I look at the show now. I just think it's like an Aragon sequel to me, where like you have these dragon riders that have
significantly better, hopefully.
Yeah, but good, right?
Yeah.
They all have their relationship with the dragons. The people obviously want to have that dynamic dialogue and character development, hopefully, that we had with the first series. And then now you have a dynamic of dragons, which we saw how much damage and how much they changed the story in the original show.
Yeah.
Now you have like 20 of them. Like we only saw 2 dragons, and those 2, that one destroyed a whole city, and we only saw 2. Now we have 20 of them, and they all have relationships with people that the dragons' personalities to me should differ depending on who their master is and things like that. I think it has potential to be really good.
Yeah. I personally think. I think it has the potential to be good, but I think it has to be good actually, because if it's not, people are going to lose a lot of faith in HBO in general, especially considering all the other things that are going around the Warner Brothers space right now. So like they need this to be good, and because they need it to be, I have a little bit more faith in it. Like just because I know a little bit of the I read the book, so I have an idea of what's coming. I'm really excited. Like I'm actually with Charlie. I'm really looking forward to seeing the personality of those dragons be portrayed, because it is a big part of the series. Like seeing this dragon is dominant, and this one is allied with this, and because it's so dominant, it allied with this king, and so on and so forth. Like seeing how they make those connections. Like if they have to do it right. Like I need a little bit of that, like the energy from the series that he put me on recently, Primal. Like
Yeah.
how you can see the connection between Fang and Spear, even though they don't speak at all. Like you I need you to give me a little bit of energy between the humans and their dragons. Like, but I have a lot of I have a lot of faith in this one just because like I know they need this to be a win. But if it's not, I'm definitely going to talk all the shit about it. I'm going to talk so much shit about it.
Yeah. I apologize for my outburst there. I go anytime anyone mentions Primal or Making Good, I get really, really excited. But
I'm telling.
By the way, but for in all seriousness, for my birthday, give me an image of Making Good riding a dinosaur that'd be perfect. But if they can find a way,
Monster Hunter, didn't that happen there?
Was Making Good in Monster Hunter?
Unfortunately, she was.
I thought it was Rihanna that was in Monster Hunter.
Wait, she was?
She was in Monster Hunter.
Oh God! Well, I had to watch that now. Thanks. I gotta make some plans.
I didn't know she was in it.
But I'm with you though. If for both y'all, I think that it would be ideal for the show to be good. I am burned out, pun intended or whatnot. Seeing Matt Smith, one of the lead actors in those blonde wigs, Targaryen wigs, like it's a turn off, man. It's like I don't know, I really don't know, and just imagining, because also thinking about the Game of Thrones is that it's an investment, even when it's at its best, and when the show is really, really good, it's still a major investment. You're still putting a lot of your heart and soul into it, and you're setting yourself up for a lot of like pain and turmoil because you are so invested in the show and the characters and things like that. This is not a simple, happy-go-lucky show to get to watch. It's like, oof, I have to gird my loins for some stuff. So if I'm girding my loins and the show is like kind of gonna wrench my heart around, even in the best of times, that's a lot to deal with too. So I'm hoping for the best. I would love the best to happen, but let's be honest, like you said, with Warner Brothers and HBO, they've made some missteps, and they're making more missteps too. So I don't know what to expect. I just don't know.
Yeah, I guess this kind of goes another play off into one of my earlier points with the personalities of the dragons. I really hope that they I don't know if they will 100% or at all, but again, I bring it up again with Aragon. I like the aspect of even if the dragons can't talk to other people, just like a psychic link between the dragon and that person or the writer would be cool. Like I'd rather them speak. Granted, I feel like it's a lot harder to form that personality without them speaking, and a lot more big of a budget with the scene. It's already enough as probably as a large budget for the fact that it's over 20 dragons. So either we're not seeing the dragons that often, or we're going to be seeing them lounge around more than doing anything else.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I need to see a lot of. I would love to see some psychic connections going on where they can talk to each other.
I think it would play better based off of comparing Aragon to How to Train Your Dragon with Toothless. And also Primal, like Otis mentioned. I think it would play better if there was either a telekinetic connection or telepathic connection, but you don't hear them speaking, or it's just you kind of it's like a person with their pet, where you can tell a lot about that dragon just by how they act, without having to hear them speak. It's also having that slight bit of ambiguity, but also where you feel more endeared to them. I think it would just play better all around. People would gravitate towards that kind of stuff, as opposed to having some random voice actor try to come in there and speak like a dragon, like Smaug or whatever. It's like I don't know.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah. That's
all 20 of these dragons need to feel like different dragons. Like they don't need to be seen like a carbon copy or like versions of another one.
Right.
And it can't just be aesthetic. It can't just be like they look different. They have to be like this has to be the badass dragon. This has to be the timid dragon. Like you got to show that. You have to show that.
Yeah. I agree. So we'll see. I mean, I'll give it a shot. It's tonight. Comes out tonight, right, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, actually. Yeah.
Tonight at 9.
So we can see some more strong female protagonists. Hopefully, they don't get a Daenerys treatment. Hopefully. But speaking of strong female protagonists, getting into
the segue. Look at that. Redemption arc.
Hey, it's practicing. We practicing. Wait till we get once we get ads and sponsorships. Oh, I'm going crazy with it. Just wait. Getting into She-Hulk. We discussed this in private a little bit in our PlayStation party. But I enjoyed this first episode. I know me and Ethan enjoyed it a lot more. I'm not sure how much Otis did. I don't think we spoke about it in too much length. But I know for me personally, it was great to get a series that Marvel's put out that doesn't take itself too seriously. I feel like recently we've gotten a lot of the WandaVisions and a lot of the Moon Knights that have been like hyper serious and dark and gritty.
You think
So seeing something that's just
Moon
like
Knight is hyper
funny,
serious?
hmm,
You thought Moon Knight was hyper serious?
Yeah, it
bro,
was trying
homeboy
to
had
taking itself serious. It was taking itself
this
serious.
thing was really serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, look at the coloring and the lighting for half that movie. It was dark as hell for half that movie. It was
Also,
always in
still,
shadow or moonlight.
it also dealt with like abuse, like a child abuse and that kind of stuff. Even though you're seeing a giant hippo talking about,
Yeah, it's like the hippo really took me out of the serious light, man. I can't lie to you.
But that's the thing, though. The show is still taking us. That's the problem. The tones are all over the place, but the show is still taking itself seriously, even though it's it's so.
It had like weird horror elements that they tried to throw into it.
Like horror elements, yeah.
It was good. It was cool to me. But this show in particular, like seeing it hit the ground running. I love the fact that we didn't get a super like the whole episode wasn't just an origin story of Jennifer getting her powers. Like it was like, all right, granted it was a little kooky, but all right, got my powers, now I'm off.
Right.
I think I liked a lot of the interaction and seeing the relationship between her and Bruce. Like they felt like they were cousins. They felt more like brother and sister. Yeah. But I can see first cousins being like that. I have first cousins that are like brothers to me, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's that one.
But it was cool. It was cool, man. Action was. I mean, it wasn't too much action, but I'm ready to see what the action's like going forward. I think the CGI wasn't the best. It was a drastic improvement from the trailers, but it wasn't. It was the best. I enjoyed it though. I love. Again, I'm a big Tatiana Maslany fan. Shout out to Ethan for introducing me to Orphan Black. I've been a big fan of her since I watched that series. So getting to see her do her thing in this, I can't wait to see what she does.
Yeah, I gotta chime in. I love Tatiana Maslany. She's amazing. And I think the thing about it too, I mentioned to Dev earlier in our chat how I know she's not on screen that much, but when she is on screen, there's a scene where she's talking just anytime she's talking to Bruce, whether it be the Hulk or Mark Ruffalo, you buy it. You believe what she's saying, and she's very charismatic and charming with very little. That's not always the case with actors in these shows and these movies. We've all saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show.
Can we not do that?
Okay.
Let Star Wars live, man. Why you gotta come on, bro? Every time.
Miss Marvel, is that better?
I'll take that.
All I will say is this show did not have a lack of charisma with her. She was every time she was on screen, I bought it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And Mark Ruffalo did a great job too, playing it up with her. I mean, they were engaging to watch it. Up to Otis said his favorite part was actually the post-credit scene, and it's like, yeah, that few 30 seconds was awesome. Just watching them like do their thing. I know, having listened to Tatiana Maslany on a lot of improv comedy podcasts, and then also a recent one she did where she talks about how some of the things Mark Ruffalo did were improvised, and that's how well it plays. So I thoroughly enjoy watching that. I did enjoy watching the idea of how a sentient Hulk from the jump would be different from someone who has a complete alter ego essentially to deal with. I love watching mentor-mentee relationships, and it was really fun watching it with those two. So I have nothing but flowers to give. Yes, some of the CGI may have been wonky. I know the weird part in the courtroom at the end was a weird kind of a jump there, but overall, it's like the pros outweigh the cons so much for me here. So.
Right. Plus, I just expect CGI mess ups when the entire character is CGI at all times.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't have any issues with the CGI because I mean, again, compared to what we saw in the trailer, like it was a night and day. My issue came more so from a couple of things, like one, the transition from her just being like a human to being She-Hulk was like so immediate, like 2 drops of blood from Bruce, like, and she's now She-Hulk automatically running through the forest. Right. I didn't love that, but it wasn't terrible because they had so much they had to pack into that first episode. I can't nitpick over that too much, but it was a thing that happened. The scenes where any scene where it was just Bruce and
Jennifer
Jennifer. Thank you. Was fantastic. Like all of those scenes were really well done. It was just the scenes outside of that, like the courtroom scene. I got to get into it. Like, why did Titania burst into that like burst into there just random? Like it's completely unrelated to anything superpowered, right? Like she just bursts into this courtroom and says, "Yeah, we gotta do stuff." Like at that point, no one on the planet knows who She-Hulk was, so it's not like it was she was coming after her. There was no real reason for that to happen.
Agreed.
So that was a little bit of an issue for me. But and then the flying, quote unquote, flying kick that Titania does was like, why the fuck did you do that? Right? Like that it like it looks so bad that it's just like it almost like pulls away from everything else that actually look good. Like, how do you look worse than the CG character fighting you? Like, I don't know. He's pulling it off. But But outside of that, it's the first episode was really well done. I'm looking forward to seeing more. She definitely seems like the most charismatic of the heroes that they've shown so far, and I'm happy about that because like they need some charisma. Because like I mean, who is charismatic anymore in the MCU besides what?
Well, we got the GOAT. We do have the GOAT still. We have Haley Stanfield is like the new Hawkeye. She's got the charm, charisma.
We still got Lova. What else, sister? I can't remember her actual character name.
Oh yeah,
Wanda?
No, not Wanda. What is her name? Yelena.
Yelena.
Oh yeah. She's great.
She's amazing. She's amazing. So I'll give.
I think I'm not sure what they're doing with Oscar Isaac as far as Moon. I know he's coming back. Maybe he'll be
back for Midnight Sun stuff.
Yeah, so he may be better. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. Obviously, we have Mahershala Ali pretty soon as Blade.
Mahershala!
And we're going to have, I think Anthony Mackie, when they give him a better script to work with as Captain Falcon, will be fine to watch that. So I'm not losing all faith, but I think we do have a couple. We'll be all right. We should be okay.
Yeah. Witty quips and charisma, I don't think will ever be a short thing in the MCU because it feels like they try to make all their shows and movies like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. I'm not gonna say I'm scared yet because again they did pretty good with everybody else. We only got to see like 2 minutes of Jamil's character, Jamil.
Jamil.
She got big. I don't know if y'all have seen The Good Place, but like I don't know if that a lot of that was costume or what. But she got big as shit. Like she looked huge. I don't know if it's camera tricks or what that was. But
she is tall. She's 5'10" or 5'11", but then she didn't like bulk up. It's other stuff they put on her, costume and stuff.
Yeah, she looked nice. But I don't know. I think her comedy, at least from what I've seen in The Good Place and her doing comedy and that, I think the comedy that they're trying to do in this show matches that a lot. So I'm just expecting kind of a similar performance.
Right on.
So I think she'll mess well. They're probably like the answer Otis's question of like why she was even there. They're probably gonna have some stupid reason why she's there. I don't even know if she's gonna be a recurring character. I know in the comics Titania's a recurring villain for Jennifer, but I hope not, bro. I hope this is a case by case thing.
But I mean, she had literally was on screen for 2 seconds. I am 100% sure she'll show back up in the next episode in some capacity. You gotta close that book on her.
The biggest thing for me as well, I need to. I'm kind of worried about how they're gonna have the Daredevil episode because I'm like there's some sarcasm and comedy in the Netflix show. I recently rewatched it, but that's a pretty serious show 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it was very serious. But he was charming. Charlie Cox was always charming. He was always knocking on ladies. He was smiling all the time, especially when he was actually Matt Murdock as a lawyer. I imagine they'll have times when it's Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock having conversations. So I'm not worried at all about them getting that to work. Not even a little bit. Yeah.
I'm more so worried about how they're going to set the plot up for them to collide more so than the actual, like, them being on screen together. Like, they should be fine. Yeah. Those are 2 talented actors. Very
talented actors. Yeah.
I because initially way before when I guessed like one person to be like a prosecutor or defendant, but it seems like She-Hulk, she's more so wanting to defend more so than being a prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she because I can't remember her in the comics. Is she a defense attorney or a prosecutor?
She's a defense attorney because she represents superheroes in the comics.
Okay, she's a defense attorney. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, Matt Murdock's usually the same way because he defended Spider-Man a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. It'd be interesting though.
So, question for y'all. I got a real to kind of tie in both of a few of our topics from today.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think going to have the better season, House of Dragon or She-Hulk?
You go first, Jeff.
Obviously, there is going to be some advantages. areas with House of Dragon because it's going to be longer. I think She-Hulk it's got to be like what 5 to 6 episodes.
6
because they did. Because they usually drop like 2 episodes at a time. Like in the first, when a show first dropped, at least they have been doing that. They only dropped the 1 this time, so that made me think it's gonna be a lot shorter than that.
Yeah.
So if it messes up at any point, it's gonna look a lot worse compared to something that may be like 15 episodes where they can have spots to mess up, and then plus, though at least from the regular Game of Thrones, those episodes are like an hour plus long.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm gonna guess She-Hulk just because I'm having fun with it, man. Plus, I'm excited to see Wong. I'm excited to see Matthew Cox come back as Daredevil. So I'm going to be kind of biased.
Charlie Cox. Our names are our names are getting all kinds. I'm the old guy. I have Alzheimer's twice. Yeah, but
it's contagious.
It's contagious.
Yeah. I was already excited to see those guys come back. So I'm gonna be biased with that one. I think because how much I loved Game of Thrones initially, I think it has a lot of potential to steal my attention and love away from She-Hulk though. But I'm going to say She-Hulk though.
What's interesting is, you would think we'd be biased, or we'd have bias towards the Game of Thrones prequel series with House of Dragons, but because of how it ended, I'm kind of like burnt out of it too, and I'm like, I'm biased against that. And because I do love Tatiana Maslany, even though I know Disney and the Marvel shows have made some missteps, I got you. But I've seen the first episode and I really, really enjoyed it. I went in there with low expectations, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I'm actually giving my vote to good old She-Hulk, man. I'm sorry, it is. Plus, I mean, let's be honest. We've talked about this several times. All three of us, all of us have had a crush on She-Hulk in general in the comic books and all the other lore and stuff. So I want my girl to do good. I want her to do good.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, E. I got more faith in She-Hulk just because there's less expectations on it. I feel like anytime that you have a lot of expectations and you're coming in under the gun, it's a little bit harder to perform. And unfortunately, I'm expecting at least the first season of House of Dragons are to perform. I don't think
right on. And that's something that all guys can relate to. When anytime they have expectations for you, you're going to have underperform. Am I right? Is that just me? Am I saying too much?
Hey, you never overrate the product, man. You got to keep your expectations low and you exceed them.
See that? I will go in saying like, no, it's gonna be bad. So like when you get the regular, then it'll seem better than that. Like so,
setting the bar, boy.
Exactly. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies. Happy Valentine's Day.
And the same token with something else that men can agree on. Do y'all remember in the Fantastic Four animated series how fucking horny She-Hulk was in that?
I do.
But she was hitting no big grill. It's like, I got a girlfriend. Yeah. She's like, what they got to do with me?
Go online, watch on YouTube. They have clips of like all the super mash cut of all of her. She was bizarrely horny. I don't know why.
Who voiced her? Was that Cree Summer? At this point, I just assume like all
women are the
women like that are Cree Summers. Yeah.
I don't think it was.
I don't know the voice. I got to look that up.
Yeah, I can remember because Cree Summer obviously is black, so usually she voiced women of color or whatnot. But but speaking of women of color, segue. No segue at all.
I was like, where we going with that?
Absolutely nowhere.
It's like, are we talking about rap shit? I was like,
ooh, rap shit. That's next week. But so I'll go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage because today we're getting ready for what I like to call the blur down. Welcome to Die, baby.
Oh God.
Let's go back to the regular bird down.
It's been a race. It's a lost of time.
Oh God. Oh my God.
You have to understand, I love me some Otis East, so any chance I get to mess with him, I will do it with 10 times out of 10. All right. So today's Blur Down is going to be about Monster Slayers in honor of Day Shift. Jamie Foxx and Snoop, and I guess kind of Dave Franco were Monster Slayers in that. So that's what we're doing, is on Monster Slayers. And in typical fashion, we're going to go from top to bottom. So it'll be Otis, then Charlie, then me. And then we'll go back up to the top. And another prerequisite, just for you guys to know, we more or less know each other's list in advance, so we don't choose the same ones. And also, we realize there's so many Monster Slayers that some of these will seem, some of our honorable mentions or whatnot will seem like, hey man, why aren't you guys having these higher up? We're not. There's no disrespect meant. We're trying to figure out how to cram all these amazing Slayers into one list. So It's all love. They're all love.
And no, we're not ranking them off of ability. These are just more so our fan favorites.
It's a personal fan favorite. Yeah.
And now that I'm in hindsight, there's a huge oversight that we left off this list, even in the. I'll get to after we finish the list because somebody big just came. I think I blurred it out. Nobody said Buffy. Like Buffy is not on anybody's list. We fucked.
I wouldn't. I'm glad you mentioned. That's fine. I wouldn't have put her on mine, but I'm glad you mentioned that.
She's one of like the more well known. Yeah, we're not talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, definitely not Christy Swanson. Not those two. The comic book, but
that was before my time. I put Angel over her just because from what I haven't seen the original, but that's just me though.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of it.
I'm not even talking about the series because the series we only. I mean, a lot of people like the Joss Whedon series. I was never a fan of it.
No, it wasn't my cup. But anyway, so getting into it, Otis's number is legit number 4 first.
All right.
Ready? Oh, you got the,
yes,
you got the con. Okay.
And I had to start off with my man here, the one of the craziest hunters to ever exist, and that is Alucard from Hellsing, Hellsing Ultimate specifically, because I mean, oh my goodness, this man has killed more people than I can in 10 episodes than some people have done in their entire series. So big ups to that. He's also sporting 2 gigantic pistols, and I've always had a thing for pistols. Pistols are pretty cool.
Yeah, and that hat is
the hat
and the shades, the
swag, boy.
Swag. Yeah, that's drip, man. That's drip.
Yeah, Alucard definitely came in through with the drip. I mean, again, caught bodies in the most supernatural way possible.
Right. The I can't remember. Wasn't the thing was that his master who's beholden to, like her family somehow got out.
Yeah. So with Alucard, essentially the Helsing family signed a deal with him to just keep him alive, and in return he would hunt vampires.
Okay.
And,
yeah, I can remember.
And the series, the series starts off with a slight flashback to the current Van Helsing, basically being chased into a basement by a bunch of men, and she offers her blood to Alucard, and he's under contract with her from then on.
Right on. Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's over the top fun.
Team 4-Star ruined that show for me because like their version of their abridged version of that show was so good. Like I tried to go back and watch the actual anime, and I was like, this ain't as funny.
It's not supposed to be funny. It's
more horror.
I like the jokes.
Now, did you use the original Helsing or the Helsing Ultimate? Because it is you didn't like it.
I saw both.
No, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I was like, it fucked me up because they had like how Team 4-Star does. They have like the running jokes and they have things that like the editing's on point. So like I saw that and I was like, ooh, I gotta watch this now. And I'm like, I wasn't in the mindset. I was in like
you were completely
mindset.
Different. Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is super serious.
Don't do that.
This is super dark.
Completely ruins it for you. But you did mention something that dovetails nicely into your number 4, Mr. Wilson.
Go ahead and do it for my boy. Oh yeah, my boy. Wait, hold on. You know what? I never realized that was
Wolverine.
Oh my gosh, Wolverine. Yeah,
Wolverine?
I never realized that.
Really?
As a kid, I never thought about it. Like in my head, I saw the guy's face in my head, but I never looked at it too hard. Never thought about it too hard, and so I just now saw that. I was like, "Damn, that's Hugh Jackman playing that." That's probably why I liked it so much. Yeah, Van Helsing, man. Obviously, on my list, the biggest thing you're going to see is just how good they are at hunting the things that they choose to hunt. And Homeboy in this movie he was really good at hunting vampires. And dude, like some of the gadgets they had him use, it was dope, bro. I love whenever you get a movie that is in a certain time period, and then they show like the advanced technology or hunting technology of that time period.
Right.
Where it's just, it was sick to me.
It was almost like there was advanced steampunk weapons at times too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean,
did he become a werewolf into that?
Yes, he did. Like a super werewolf vampire creature thing. Yeah.
That was sick. That was sick to me.
Bizarre.
I don't know.
Crazy because like that movie is supposed to take place in the 19th. I mean, that's like the 17th century. But he had better tech than Blade did.
Hey, hold on. We'll get to that. We'll talk about that.
We'll get to that. It is weird though. I'll be honest. That movie it's a weird movie. It's a weird movie. It has Kate Beckinsale in some tight clothes, which is definitely a plus. But
she is in that, isn't she?
She's all up in it. She's all up in it.
Yo, how did I miss? Oh my god, bro!
What? In that movie.
Like those two are the draw for that movie. Like that's.
Yeah.
I watched it when I was younger, and I wasn't aware of like the stardom that they had at that point in time.
Yo, the faces and stuff. Yeah, the top billed cast. It was like Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, then Hugh Jackman's wig that he wore, which got his own spinoff too. But I like the movie is okay. It's not great, but it's made by the same guy who did The Mummy, Stephen Sommers, the one with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz and stuff. So there was an era like in the late 90s, early 2000s where they're doing kind of like fun monster movies was a thing, and he kind of pioneered that. So even though the movie wasn't always that great, I still appreciate the fact that he was trying to do that, make them accessible. Like Dev, who's now likes horror more, I imagine having seen fun horror movies when he was younger as a kid, obviously got him into that. So it's more power to you.
R.I.P. to the monster verse in Universal. He tried that so hard, and it just flopped so hard.
If you get a chance, go to their Twitter page where they still have the same 2 tweets from how many years ago?
Like 5 at this point, or something like that.
More, yeah.
When was it Tom Cruise was the Mummy one?
Tom Cruise was the Mummy. That is hard to watch.
Oh God.
Speaking of monsters, going on to my number 4, the great of the greats, D, the Dumb Peel and Vampire Hunter D. Now this is particularly from Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Although I do respect him in the original version as well. D. This was. For those who are wondering, this was the very first anime I ever saw, the original Vampire Hunter D from 1984. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? How is it that animation can have extreme things like this? And so I always have a very soft spot for that character and also for just that world, seeing a person that has the entire world hates him, despises him, and he's still an incredible badass. Never asks for a thank you, never asks for anything really, but just does his job and keeps moving. So I love me some D, and that movie Bloodlust is like some of the best animation you're going to see. Period. It's a benchmark in actual like quality, and it's made like 20 years ago. So.
I gotta watch that. That looks hard.
You ain't seen D? You ain't seen Bloodlust?
That was made in '84.
No, the original was 84.
Oh,
that
I was about to say
from 19. What year was that? What year was
Bloodlust?
Otis?
I want to say that's like 2003. Like it's early 2000s. It's early 2000s.
Yeah. You said it's called Bloodlust.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter D
Bloodlust.
Yeah. Check that one out. We'll have a watch party for that, Dev. Yeah.
No,
we gotta do one at some point.
I also got a lot of respect for Vampire Hunter D. He actually is the precursor to my pick. He's a lot of the inspiration for my for Alucard came from Vampire Hunter D, as well as a lot of other characters in anime in general was spawned from that archetype. So much respect to the OG.
Yeah, because even Blade right now that we're looking at, I think Blade does predate Vampire Hunter D, the anime and everything. But Blade is a character who is similar, that they both have vampire, half human, and they have the strengths and weaknesses to deal with. So it's seeing influences.
Didn't Blade come out in like the 60s or 70s, right?
Yeah, 60s. I think he was in the 70s originally. I believe 70s. His comic book. Okay, moving on to more goats. This is a goat across the board. Again, this is one that would have made all of our lists, but only one of us could claim him.
Yeah, I had to get him early. I had to get the young goat Tanjiro because come on, bro. Like, do I even need to speak on the greatness that is Demon Slayer? First of all,
no, but you will.
But, I mean, this man somehow, with every single injury physically possible, wins this fight. Like, it doesn't even make sense what he had to go through for that to happen. He couldn't breathe, he couldn't see or hear by the end of it, and still caught the body that nobody else could.
Had a sickle through his mouth, through his jawbone.
Like, what are we doing here?
Mamba mentality.
Like,
shout out to the goat.
And honestly, Tanjiro only gets more badass from here. Like where the manga is going is he keeps going up. Like you're gonna have to really put him in like the top tier anime protagonist of all time. He's gotta be tough. He's got to be tough.
He's ghost status. Yeah, and so I haven't read the manga. I'm not going to read the manga. So the anime is so good, I'd rather just wait for the anime. But is he the only? You can tell me this: is he the only Demon Slayer that has the ability to do 2 different styles of breathing?
No, he is not. He's. Okay. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Because that is goat right there. That he's able to do water and fire,
and
interchangeably, really,
Mhm.
depending on what he needs to do. And even though they both kind of hurt him, he's still goat status. How he uses them.
And the sun, or his son's just a branch of fire, right?
Yeah.
Or is that a whole
Yeah.
different name?
Well, no, the sun. Yeah, like Sun Style's his own style. Let's put it that way. Well, no, I can say that. I can say that without spoilers. Sun Style is this the style that all the other styles are derived from. It's the original.
Oh, okay.
Right on. Okay. It's like it's the OG kind of alpha.
Mhm.
I got you. Right on. Okay. Yeah,
That's
Tanjiro is a good man. And this is how good Demon Slayer is. Dev, who does not like watching subtitled anime, made a point to watch like the whole series, even though it has subtitles, because it was so goat. So,
Oh, it's fire, bro.
yeah, it transcended language in some capacity.
Yes.
If it's good enough, I watch it. Something was good enough, and that was definitely good enough. It was worth it.
Yeah, I prefer app on sub, definitely. All right, moving on to another good one.
Oh yeah, my boy Goblin Slayer. All right, so I recently got into Goblin Slayer and watched this first season. It's something that I'd seen in the group, a bunch of different people that don't know, in the Blurred Proof Entertainment group on Facebook. I've seen it around there a lot. I saw it a lot in high school. Not high school, I'm tripping. A lot in college, but I never got around to it. Just more so I knew about the certain type of thing with the R word that I don't want to say. I don't want us to get don't off anything. But I'm for people that don't. I'm really uncomfortable when it comes to the R word, rhymes with cape. So I tend to stay away from shows if I can that has that thing. But I finally got around to it. I was just like, you know what? I've avoided it for so long. Let me go ahead and watch it. And although it does have cape in it, boy, the rest of that stuff in that show was crazy.
There's definitely cape in there.
Yeah, so yeah, cape is pretty bad.
Bad.
But the action's dope. And the best thing about it, again, I said on my list earlier, when it comes to how effective are you at hunting the thing that you hunt. Goblin Slayer is like, I'm hunting these goblins. Jesus. I don't know about hunting nothing else, but I know about hunting these damn goblins.
Grandmaster
that Goblin hunts.
That'd be the greatest like rap name of all time in the Wu-Tang Clan. Grandmaster Goblin Slayer, Grandmaster Hunter Goblin Slayer. He the thing about it too is he's very similar to Judge Dredd. You know how Judge Dredd never takes off his helmet in the comic books, not supposed to. And I love the idea of it. He's just a master that's proficient in his craft, and he's honed in that, and he doesn't care about anything else. He does that to a T. And I watched a long video essay from Wisecrack about how the importance of a character like that, because people think, oh, goblins are these little creatures that no one needs to worry about. They're so small, and because they think of them that way, they disregard them. And when they come back with a vengeance later on, they're like a plague. They can destroy the world. There has to be someone in place that's willing to do the dirty work to keep the world running, the system running. If anybody, if we were like, oh, forget bugs and spiders are so small, or rats, if we had no exterminators, the world would be overrun by them. And it's kind of the same idea that Goblin Slayer is like, someone has to take these jobs, but someone has to be good at them too. So
to play off that point too, I know, like I don't know if any of you guys have played it, but if you played the PlayStation 2 version of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, you literally like throw goblins for fun. Like you just spin in a circle and throw them around.
We saw you do that. We saw you that footage one time.
That was fun. That show's hard. But yeah, bro, this show is literally funny because like it'll be like, Goblin Slayer, the world's ending, and we need you to help from the world being. He's like, I don't give a fuck about the world. I'm about these goblins.
I want some goblins, man.
Like, but you live in the world. I don't care, bro. These goblins, though. These goblins gotta go.
Like these goblins live in the world too, and they must stop. They have to stop living.
Right. Because actually, he actually reminds me of the first episode. He reminds me of Otis, the first or second episode, where he's like showing how he thinks, how he hunts them. He sets up little traps for them, and he counts them out one by one. It's kind of like how Otis would do his job, like being very proficient, doesn't give a shit about anything else around him. He's like, I'm doing this, and get out of my way. So I love him, man. He's
killing babies, women, and children. He's just like, oh boy. Literally, I think in some point in the show, in the first season, they asked him, like, hey, you can't use explosions or poison. And he's like, all right, bet, I'll figure something else out. And he does.
Man.
He's like, yep, I'm going to kill this guy by dropping a lake of water on him. Like, what?
He's the greatest, man.
I'm a huge fan of Goblin Slayer as well. I mean, I something that me and E has talked about, like with some characters, like, you know, when you take off the helmet, they lose their powers. Take off their mask, they lose their powers. He didn't take it off. He kept his powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He
so
has-
technically he does take it off, but he takes it at the very end, and we don't see it. He takes it up in front of like, so even the show's like, yeah, we're not going to show you his face.
All right. Oh, last thing too on that one. One thing I thought was interesting. Usually when I'm watching an anime like that, or it's not isekai technic, it's not isekai at all.
No, it's not isekai.
Isekais or even video games and stuff like that in general. You're used to seeing the main character get like upgrades to the armor. Like as he gets stronger, his appearance gets more shiny, like kind of what like Super Saiyan and Dragon Ball, like the Super Saiyan transformations get more flashy as it goes along. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna keep my dirty, broken armor, and because it's effective, and I don't need to change it up. Exactly. And it threw me off at first. I know I was gonna like it. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it grew on me a little bit. It's the fact that it's effective. He's the Tim Duncan of Goblin Slaying.
He is. Yeah, that's yo. I would, if they do a Goblin Slayer movie, I would not be upset at all if they said, and we cast Tim Duncan to be. It's like, all right, okay.
You know how tall of a goblin he would be? Like that's a giant man.
But seriously, can you think of a better person to portray the goblins? Because the Goblin Slayer is always monotone and very chill, always chill. Tim Duncan, always monotone and chill.
He killer too, boy. Quiet killer, boy.
Nah, yeah. For Goblin Slayer, just give me what's his name that plays the Mando. Like, give me him. I'll be okay with it.
Pedro has a personality, Pedro. But yeah. But I mean, he do a good job. Though. That's fair. He's
a lot more fun than I thought he was. Like, see him because I guess him and Oscar Isaac are like tight buddies.
Yeah, they're like buddies. I mean, you saw him in Game of Thrones. He's basically the medieval Gambit in that.
Yeah,
and he was what's his name in that show in Game of Thrones?
Caspian or something like that.
No, I can't remember his name. Somebody will say it.
I just pulled Caspian on my ass. I don't know where I got
Caspian. That's not
Prince. Wardrobe, Prince Caspian. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's Prince Caspian.
Okay. I was like, why do I want to say Caspian so bad?
I can't remember because he slayed the mountain too, and he said his name.
Davian.
No, Davian's
Dota. No. Yeah, that's Dota. Damn it.
Dota.
What is his name?
We're pulling names out of our asses, bro.
They're all wildly incorrect. We'll get it. Oh, James Franco. That was James Franco.
You're right. James Franco.
But we'll get. Well,
all right. Next pick.
Yeah, let's move. Let's segue somehow. This is one of my goats. I'm sorry, y'all. She is definitely she's literally in my top 10 protagonists of all time in movies and in film. Now she's a I love her to pieces. Yeah, I do. I've seen this movie I've seen it again. I'm gonna watch it tonight with my roommates as well. I love Naru from Prey. Look at her. She's a badass. I mean, she's 5'5", and somehow she manages to take down a uber housed, hands throwing moderate level predator. And she has a badass dog too. I mean, there's nothing not to love about her. She has an axe on a string that she uses, like Jubei and Ninja Scroll, and it's just amazing. I love her.
But like, did she really beat the predator, or did Craig is now maybe point out, was it his own misogyny that beat the predator?
I had that whole conversation with Craig on this page about that. I won't get into it here, but I was like, misogyny, bro. You don't care about. You saw 15 other predators like champion women in other movies. Like, you don't give a fuck about our gender.
Predator doesn't. The predator.
It's the fact she's 13. He didn't care. She was like,
right. The predator doesn't care at all. That's not how he works. I don't think predator even understands human.
It was
it annihilation?
This first time he's ever been on this planet that has females, and he's a misogynist.
No, yeah.
Shout out to Craig.
Yeah, shout out to Craig. Shout out to Craig. It's a funny joke, but
Craig,
the thing about it was because she literally was, to the best of my knowledge, she's the smallest being that's ever fought a predator we've seen in the movies and whatnot. She had to use everything aside. Like you see Dutch in the first movie using his strength against him, essentially against the predator. Mm-hmm. She can't do that, and she knows she can't do it. She has to use her mind and be she's pretty much like a goblin slayer. She's using the goblin slayer uses tactics to take down goblins. She uses nothing but tactics and her badass dog to take him down. And I had a huge I was supposed to have a meeting with my boss. Shout out to my boss Mika, and we're supposed to get this meeting on something else with Star Trek. And there were 3 of us in there, and we spent the entire meeting discussing why I love Prey and why he didn't. And it was a back and forth, like a loose cannons episode of us discussing it. And in the end, the other person that was in there was like, well, I think he was trying to, but they would admit it. But he's like, I think Ethan might be right. And of course, Mika's like, you're both fired. But it was So it's I think it's I'm willing to lose my job defending this movie, man. So,
I still got to get on your ass though for saying he's the strongest predator in that movie. I'm like, bro, let's not do that.
Yeah, we get it. That's a lot of.
That's just factually not right.
That's a whole other debate. Whole other debate.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole predator hybrid with the what do they call it?
Xenomorph.
The next xenomorph. Thank you.
Yeah.
Predator xenomorph hybrid.
Yeah.
Like
even outside of that, there's like predators that kill xenomorphs on a daily, and that dude was struggling with a 13-year-old girl.
But he had. I think there's also the technology he was using for the 1700s. He was using very, very. It's basically the most advanced thing he had was a shield, and he had that homing like needle.
He had he had a what is it? A crossbow rail gun. Like with tracking, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, off his helmet, but that thing messed him up. I mean, we're getting to spoil, but that
still invisible. He can still be completely invisible.
Yeah, he used to be invisible. He still could be completely invisible. I still loved him, man. I mean, he made a huge mistake, messing with her. That's his
other predators ain't doing that though.
That'd be okay. So we need to do that then. We'll do a whole actual analyzing the predators themselves, like who actually is more.
That'd be a short episode. I mean, at least if we're looking at other ones between him, no, he's getting packed up quick.
I don't know, man. He's saying packed up quick. There are predators that got took down by Topher Grace. So let's keep it in perspective.
When was Topher Grace in? Which one was that?
In Predators with Lawrence Fishburne and Adrian Brody.
Well, they made it a point to say in that movie they got the most dangerous people on the planet. They got Yakuza members.
Grace?
Hey, you saw how tough Venom was.
Kate. Oh, okay. All right. Let's move on now.
I gotta go.
Jesus,
I gotta call this a quit. I'm done with Venom now.
There has to be a line, dude.
Let's never give Topher Grace any props for toughness ever, please.
No, please. Let's all agree as grown ass men to do that now.
Wait, did he even survive? Did he get killed early in that movie?
No, he survives to the very, very end. The thing is, I mean, spoilers for Predators. They pretty much assume that he actually is on some level that he's a more decent guy, except for Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody figures out what he is, and he tries to poison the woman that's with them, and by paralyzing her, and then the Adrian Brody's character pretty much turns the tables and does the same thing to him, and then hoists him up as bait for the predators to come and get him, essentially.
Oh yeah, bro.
So the predators do kill him as he's bait at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they can make that. Because I remember, I think Adrian Brody was the only one to make it at the end.
In the woman, those.
Oh yeah, she was there. The comic just didn't acknowledge her at all. Like she wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah. Homeboy gone.
Yeah, he's gone. All right. Speaking of homeboys, this is another super duper goat that all of us love, but only one of us could choose him, and somehow Otis got him again. God damn it!
There was never a situation where I wasn't going to get both of my Castlevania people into lists because Trevor Belmont is that guy I'm talking about here. He is literally beating the shit out of death here, death. Yeah, as a normal human being, no superpowers, no enhance. He just picked up the right gear along the way, and he's able to beat death. Right? Like,
is that a plot armor though?
No.
Aggressively, no.
He killed death himself with no abilities.
He just had the right gear.
Crazy.
Because also here's the thing: he basically was willing to die to kill it, and then someone that out of beyond his means threw him, kind of saved him, spared him. He basically did, in a way, die fighting.
We thought he was dead.
We thought he was dead.
His lady thought he was dead
for months. Yeah.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I'm like, hey, you killed death, and you ain't even got no powers. That's all I'm saying. We talked about plot armor earlier in the party.
You put like half of the vampires in this series against death. They're not even. They're gone immediately. They're not even surviving the ground falling. I don't know how he survived it, honestly.
Because it's death. It's literally death. Everybody dies with death.
But the thing was, man, like, my boy Belmont got effed up in that fight. It wasn't like he was clean and easy and simple, like that. Yada. I'm psyched him out. It was like, no, I can't move my arm. I can't see straight. I have scars on me. I don't know where we are going. I am knowingly saying goodbye to love my life and my unborn child, expecting to not come back. That's
fair enough. That was a fire. I ain't gonna lie, that fight was fire.
Of course, it was fire.
Ready for next season.
And then just hearing Death talk his shit why in the process too was amazing. Like
I've never loved Michael McDowell's voice talking shit more. Yeah,
man,
talking shit.
Shout out Isaac.
Shout out to Isaac because man, Isaac
Camilla.
versus the World was one of the greatest animated scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Put everybody in the pack, boy.
Yeah, there's too much smoke in this one show. Isaac versus Camilla was great.
This
Isaac versus
amazing.
the World. Yeah, it's a lot. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could be here for we could do another Castlevania review easily. But yeah,
we'll do another one later. For reasons.
Yeah, perfect personal reasons. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Trevor Belmont. But one thing I'll say that doesn't get enough attention is how good his voice actor Richard Armitage does with him, as far as making him sound beleaguered and kind of like drunken, but also like believably tough when he needs to be. Like you never doubt like this guy who is a half drunken can do what he's doing, and as largely due to the voice actor his portrayal of him. I love it to pieces.
Right.
So.
All right. Who we got next?
All right. So next up, we got
hey, my girl, boy. You know, we had to bring some femininity into the countdown, my boy. Celine, man. Homegirl literally had some of the best action I remember seeing when I was growing up, bro. Like she would go up against, they made Lycans in this show massive. Like they were like huge. And she's like, I have no fear. I'm not worried about you. And she like it was crazy. And is that Kate Beckinsale? That is Kate Beckinsale, right?
Beckinsale.
So I guess she's
also in Van Helsing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Boy, she was killing. I till this day, I will literally watch as many Underworld sequels as they want to put out as long as she's in them. If she's in them, I watch them. When they take her out,
she stopped. She was only in like the first 3, I think, because they made like 5 of them or so, and she wasn't.
She was in the most recent one. They made the most recent one.
The only one that she wasn't in was the prequel when they
the prequel. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she wasn't in the prequel, but she wasn't in the last one. Yeah, the last one was like 70 minutes. It was really short for some reason.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna sound like a liar, but yeah, the prequel to me was the best movie. I like that the best.
They had a Rona Mitra's in that one. She was Rona Mitra's also bad. Rona Mitra and Kate Beckinsale, the two most badass British brunettes.
I love Kate Beckinsale. But yeah, it was dope, bro. Like from the fit, like she had the blade drip, you know, the all black with the leather, and she had the right guns. Plus her weaponry, we talked about it again earlier. I talked about what Van Helsing earlier. Like her weaponry seemed like it was cool. The stuff that she had, it was dope. It was pretty much female Blade to me, essentially.
It's literally
except reversed.
So
she's fighting vampires. Like,
a one-on-one fight to the death. Her Blade, who you taking?
Is she getting the power up from the most recent movie?
It's the composite of her throughout all of her movies versus the composite of Wesley Snipes.
It's probably her because she's really broken in the most recent movie.
Yeah, she's broken. She's
like a vampire Super Saiyan.
Yeah, it's no problem.
But now, if we go to certain versions of Blade, like it's like a Blood God Blade or something like that, where he's like amped up to the max or something like that.
When Blade actually has some blood in him, because Blade doesn't drink blood. So when Blade actually drinks blood, he is more powerful too. So if we're saying that Blade is actually has drunk some human blood, and we're saying that Kate Beckinsale or Celine has actually gotten souped up too, yeah,
she still wins that. She still wins that. He needs to do like a specific version.
She should. If we're saying Wesley Snipes Blade or Mahershala Ali Blade,
we'll see.
If we're saying Wesley Snipes Blade, I might lean towards Wesley.
If we're going off the comics, we need to have like a very specific version of Blade to be like
movie versus movie from what we.
Movie versus movie, no, that's no contest. Like she's doing that.
It'd be a fun one to watch.
Yes, Craig, I said female Blade, bro. She's literally wearing all black. The only difference, she's not hunting vampires, but she still kills vampires too.
She does kill vampires later on when she killed in the second one when she's going up against her.
In the first one, she kills a couple.
So she does kill vampires. Some of the same vampires from both movies, from Blade and from this show.
She uses their guns look the same damn. The only difference is she doesn't use a sword. But I think she used one to kill Victor.
That's right.
So yeah, female Blade. I'll give her that. Yeah.
Yes, and also the that aesthetic, because that was in the early 2000s when her husband Levi, what's his name, Len Wiseman. Len Wiseman was at the time that was kind of like the new trend of doing the whole shadowy, dark kind of looking thing and the leather jackets and everything else. So she's a trendsetter as well, and her and Blade both rock the same outfits in a sense too. So yeah, they're very much cut from the same cloth.
I still rock black 24/7 Like I have other colors I wear, but 9 times out of 10 I'm wearing black clothes because of that. Like those movies really shape like my fashion.
Yo,
Craig, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
I had
you
to
said
put it
respect your elders.
all right. And so
Hey,
so moving on to my number one. This is one that we had to. I'm sorry. My number two.
yeah.
My number two.
He was like,
No, my Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Geralt of Rivia. Geralt's the greatest, man. He's fantastic. For those who don't know, there was a game series. It's not just a show starring Henry Cavill. And the game series is where I first was introduced to Geralt. I love him. I love him to death.
Damn.
With the beard. Geralt with the beard is the real way to go. Now, the video that you're watching, you may say, hey, he's not fighting monsters. But what happens was that clip, they were getting ready to violate that woman viciously. And Geralt was like, hey, I can't let that happen. And so the clip ends with the guy on the ground saying, what are you doing? Wait, stop. And Geralt says, I'm getting rid of some monsters. So they are a different type of monster there. But he also does fight old school traditional monsters too. So I love that Geralt has a code. He's literally like a medieval Jedi that's almost crossed with Blade because he has some of the mutations in him, like some of the creatures, some of the things he's fighting also. So Geralt's kind of the best of all worlds. Love him to pieces.
I'm almost surprised he didn't get your number one. But I mean, if he's your number one, I know for sure who your number one is immediately. So
yeah, you know who my number one is then. Yeah,
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Plus, who you think is a bigger horn dog, him or She-Hulk? Because Geralt be out here, boy. Geralt, if it walks and it has coochie, he got it.
Geralt.
Don't care.
There's if in the game, if you're not careful, you can actually if you're trying to woo both the two main love interests, and you try to get a menage a trois going, they'll just change you to bed and leave you. So he's so much of a horn dog that he'll kind of it's like kind of mess himself up, shoots up in the foot sometimes.
Yeah, my boy. Anyway,
Jeff, have you played Witcher 3 yet?
I played a little bit of it. I haven't played a lot of it. Okay. It's a lot.
That's not a small game. That's like hours. That's a lifestyle right there.
I need to play that there like a summer break or something, like a Christmas break. I need like time off to do that.
We'll do another actual playthrough of that. That'll be a long playthrough. We'll let you play that. But to put it in perspective, one of the DLCs literally got Game of the Year like an IGN. That's how big it is.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, by the way. Okay, so moving on to now, we're gonna get to Otis's. I forgot something. Since we did, we're gonna get on to our Otis's number one. But before we do that, we'll do his honorable mention. Okay, so go ahead and get your honorable mention up, Otis. You got that?
I am. I do, and I gotta give some love to the lady Mikasa because the way she puts down anything in her way is spectacular. Like this girl got all the hands, like with a weapon, without a weapon. I'm not going anywhere near saying something bad to Mikasa to her face. Like I don't want the smoke. And it's proven that nobody else in that series wants the smoke, Titan or otherwise. That is a monster right there.
Yeah,
she's smoking everybody's pack, boy. She is putting everybody in the pack.
Yo,
so I'm a little behind though. Has she had to throw hands with the Titan version of Aaron?
He don't want that problem. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, she would destroy him. She would destroy. Yeah, she would destroy Aaron. Yeah.
Unless it's Aaron with all of the enhancements that he gets by closer to the end of the season, and even then, if he slips up, I still think Mikasa is like cutting this man to pieces and then taking him out.
I did Mikasa, especially with that haircut. Oh, that's Mikasa all day, every day. Moving on to Otis's grandpa, and this is the most obvious one of all time. So let's just go ahead and get this over with.
I mean, I gotta give honor to the GOAT here. Like
shotgun.
When I tell you this is probably this is my favorite anime protagonist of all time. Well, second favorite, but Yusuke Urameshi. The way he talks, even without him fighting, the way he talks makes him an icon in itself, right there. Like he will say anything to anyone. Right? Stop! No. I think Mikasa would have especially if we're talking about Mikasa by the end of the series. I think she's shredding Annie to pieces. She does not want that problem.
No one can touch Mikasa. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, but going back to my guy Yusuke, I mean, well, one, please don't fuck up this live action adaptation Netflix. I don't even know why y'all chose to do that.
Too late.
But
You better lower those just lower the expectations, man. Just keep them very grounded.
I just cancel it. I'm begging you, please cancel it, Netflix.
Yeah.
But Yusuke Urameshi, I mean, going from 8th grade delinquent to basically strongest person in the universe. I mean, through every.
But you said 8th grade. Was he in 8th grade when he first started?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
What? God damn.
That man.
Yeah. The most ruthless 8th grader on the planet, because like there are whole demons that don't want to fight him hand to hand. Like it just don't make any sense.
8th grader.
What's wild to me with him, homeboy literally, this is the thing that kills me. He's like, I will, anything can get hands. Man, woman, child, demon, it don't matter. Everybody gets
hands are rated E for everyone.
Nice.
He is the embodiment of that.
Hands rated E.
Question for you then, Ethan. Who do you think got more drip, him or Ichigo?
Yusuke. I actually do like Yusuke. Ichigo.
You're biased, Ethan. That's why I didn't ask you.
I am 100% biased.
Yeah, I already know it's you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, if we're talking about the culmination of personality and outfits,
no, this is a pure fit.
I mean,
just fits.
Outfit.
I'm sorry,
Yusuke doesn't have an outfit. Yeah.
Like,
although I do like that blazer outfit where he's fighting that doctor. That part's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then the sunglasses on Yusuke was saucy. Like I gotta give Yusuke.
Yes. So Yusuke rocks some fierce, like late 80s, early 90s anime outfits. Yes, he's rocking that outfit. It's hard. Ichigo's are rocking the
the t-shirts and combinations of pets that he be putting on. Like, Ichigo, what you doing, bro? Like you just gonna take this whole body off. Why you have to look like that to do that? Like, what you showing out for?
Yeah, fresh to death. Fresh to death.
Drippy, very drippy. Very drippy.
That's on you. But yeah, of course it gotta go. You gotta go Yusuke. Yusuke is. I was late to the party on Yu Hakusho. Back in the day, I watched the movie first, Poltergeist Report, and I actually enjoyed that, but I didn't watch the show. I was late to the party on watching the show, but I made sure I watched it. I actually do like the show. The show is actually really good. It really picks up, especially in the tournament arc.
The Dark Tournament is one of the greatest arcs of anime history.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where it's weird to watch those kinds of 90s protagonists and characters in anime because they're very much like it almost reminds me of the kids in Stranger Things where they're like cussing at each other like crazy and being assholes to each other like there's no tomorrow, but it's enjoyable. And I love watching characters that have such very unique and distinct different personalities. And Yusuke's relationship with his mentor is very much like almost combative. So it's,
Genkai,
Genkai, but it's a lot of fun though. It's great.
Genkai got the Heihachi smoke, boy.
That's not a bad comparison. I mean, she's somewhat nicer than Heihachi, but yeah. Okay, so moving on then to Dev's honorable mention. You got there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boy, it's Sam and Dean, man. I felt because I know it was a late edition, but I really wanted this as well because I'm kind of rewatching the series right now. I stopped for a little bit to catch up on all the shows we had to review, but yeah, bro, rewatching this series, like my passion for the show came back and just how dope both their relationships were and just how they interact with the world around them. The Winchester brothers they're sick. They're sick. I rock with them boys heavy.
Yeah, I rock with them heavy. Season 1. Seasons 1 through 5. After that,
yeah. Season 5 is actually probably the best season. I would say.
Season 5 is heat.
That's where it was supposed to end in season 5. So the Winchesters, of course, are the goats. They're the goats. To spoiler alert, Sam and Dean actually I wrote a spec script for it was Slade and Ash, my characters meet Sam and Dean. And it was a spec script that got actually up to the people at CW and everything. Actually read it and I got some notes back from it and whatnot. I need to give it to you, Otis, so you can see what they said.
I read it,
but you read that?
I read your script. I didn't read feedback. I didn't know you got feedback on it.
Oh yes. So it's
I didn't get the script.
Yeah. I'll send all y'all the script so you can see
Fuck
what
me
they said
then.
about Sam and Dean meeting Slade and Ash. But it was fun to actually have because Sam and Dean definitely influenced how I wrote Slade and Ash to have them actually meet in a way their original influences was fun to write that. So I have nothing but love and respect for those two characters, and the fact that it was a show that ran for 15 seasons and fans wanted more. That never happens. That never happens.
It's me. I'm niggas. It's me. Oh, okay. I shut up.
Yeah. 15 seasons of the strangest brother complex that you can.
Yeah, it got weird. It got weird. But we gotta move on, of course, to the goats of goats, the most obvious of obvious. Charlie's number one.
Oh God, boy. Blade, bro. What can I gotta say? As a black man, as a nerd, as a dude that loves vampires, it hits everything and checks the list off for me. Like when I first saw this as a child, bro, I was blown away because again, like at that point in time, I didn't see a lot of things that had representation in it. Obviously, like the Justice League stuff, we've been over that a lot. If you've seen the video essays, you've heard us talk about it on the show a bunch of times. He was one of the very few that I saw early first growing up. Was somebody that looked like me doing dope stuff. Homeboy had the swag. He had the one-liners. He had the attitude. Vampires were like literally scared around this man. He just had it all, bro. Wesley Snipes killed this role. The weapons were cool. The guns were cool. I could go on all day about Blade, so I'll try not to make this rant 15 hours long. But Blade's dope. Blade's that guy. He's that guy.
So, just to echo what Dev just said, there was in a world of literal monsters, vampires, bloodsuckers, and everything that they literally feared Blade. They made an entire squad. In the second movie, you see they made an entire squad of vampires trained just to fight this one man. That's how powerful he is. That's how Omega level he was, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's very few characters that fit their roles better than Wesley fit Blade. Like he brought the different level of swagger to a superhero character that we still have not seen to this day. I don't think that anyone has swagged out their character to the level that he has.
Not swag. I mean, obviously you got the Robert Downey Jr.'s and Ryan Reynolds in their roles really that personify them, but swag and drip, no.
This Mahershala Ali movie, I'm buying a black trench coat for this movie. Yeah. I'm buying one. I'm wearing it in the theater, and when I walk out that hole, I'm flapping that bitch in the wind, smart as hell, every 2 seconds.
Flapping, yes, and you need to get some shades too, man. Get if you need to get some prescription level sunshades to wear too. I don't care if you go at night, wear them damn shades.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
You got to come in there with the shades, and you got to get like the fake tattoos on your head because you got the baldies. So.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
God.
Oh, that was what was it? Sticky Fingers. Remember Sticky Fingers played him in that show? You saw it, Otis. You watched it, Otis. You watched it.
Yeah.
My granddaddy had that on DVD, but something told me, even as a child, to avoid that. I was like, I don't know.
Probably a bad choices made.
You made the right choice. You made the proper choice there.
Speaking of proper choices, we have a special shout out to Mr. Otis East here. It's literally his favorite quote of all time.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh, yeah.
He had that just put that in. I didn't even see that video when I was putting in stuff. He said that in there quick.
Otis said that on his wedding day, he's going to say that in his vows to
keep that in there. I'm going to use that at some point later on. All right. Ice skate up. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm moving that up the list.
Yesterday. So yeah, like that line is so iconic, and because has there ever been ice on a hill to skate up like before?
No.
Has that happened in reality?
No,
you in Canada,
no ice skaters ever said, "Hey, there's a hill. Let me try to like power through it." It's like, no, I'll walk around. I'm good. I'll go over here.
And he said it with so much conviction too. That's what killed me.
It hits. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense at the exact same time. So
it's iconic. I remember I saw it in the theater. I was like, "Yo!" And I was with my brother. We were like cheering and stuff. We're like, wait, what did he just say? Kind of like, but you have to. It's Wesley Snipes. It's Wesley Snipes.
Number one thing, real quick for me. This number one thing. This is just a big ask for me of Disney. I'm gonna solo it. Disney, I need you, please, for the love of God, make sure that you cast Wesley Snipes as Whistler in the upcoming Blade movie. I don't care what other old decrepit white man you want. You got to have Wesley Snipes involved in some extent. And I think as him being old as hell now, that's the best way to go about it. That is all.
Damn, old as hell.
The problem,
have you seen him recently?
He doesn't look
what?
that old. He's still in shape. He's still in better shape than me.
He just don't have a beard.
Doesn't
Like,
have the-
it made him age some. You see the wrinkle in his face more.
Yeah,
but-
I'm not opposed to this idea though. I'm not opposed to this
I
idea.
think that's
but
a brilliant idea.
they gotta make him look. They gotta make him look like a bum. Like Whistler's a bum. So yeah, but I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. Okay, so moving on to some more goats. My honorable mention. Yeah, we got to. Okay, so we got to give a shout out to our boy. Guts, of course, Berserk. Again, this is one of those things where I know Berserk is a huge fan favorite. Everyone loves it. Kentaro Miura basically made the whole dark fantasy genre. Guts is iconic as they get, but oftentimes we don't think about Guts being specifically a monster slayer as much as it is. His journey is just so horrific in and of itself. He's almost battling himself oftentimes, but he's a great character. He's a great protagonist. Got to give him some love. Got to give Guts all the love in the world.
Bro,
But not the same type of love that Griffith gave to his girl, though. Like, not that
I knew it was coming.
Well, not Gift. What's his face? Femto.
Yeah, Femto. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Again, no more cape. No capes.
No capes.
No capes.
Like Incredibles or something.
I just realized from watching that little clip, I didn't put it together before, but that same dodging move, that's the same move they did in Dragon Ball. Gohan did that shit with Cell when he was dodging those ki blasts, the roll out on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, they took a lot of shit from this anime.
Anime, they recycle scenes in anime like candy. Like every anime that you've ever seen.
Recycle candy,
yeah. Like every anime that you've ever seen has another scene from another anime in it. Like
that's wild. I'm gonna side by side that because it's crazy. It's the same, like exact same shit.
Yeah, they do it a lot though. They do it a lot. But I love anime. Okay, real quick, moving on to my number one. As Otis already knows what it is.
I already know what it was. Yeah.
It's Mr. Scott Kennedy here. Leon. Leon, then you got to remember, especially in this game right here, his maiden voyage. This is literally his first day on the job. He went to police academy, yes, but he's dealing with all this crazy wild ass shit on his first day of the job as a rookie, 21 years old, and survives it. He survives Mr. X. He survives all kinds of mutant super freaks. He survives Ada Wong's feminine wiles. My boy, I give him props. So much so that I actually based my own character. Where's that here, Dev? Where'd you put it? How we get this? Is it in the
movie? That was in the overlays.
Is it in the overlays? How
is this right here?
No, it's right. Yeah, there it is. So I based my character Ash, the one on the right there in Slade National comic book. I based his look off of Leon Scott Kennedy in Resident Evil 2. That's how much I love my boy. So he's the greatest. And he does throw hands in Resident Evil 4 with Krauser. So if you like hands, if you're a hands master, hands fan, you can do that too.
That's wild, bro. Can you imagine working like a 12-hour shift and you tired and you want to go home and just like go to sleep, and then a zombie apocalypse hits? So like you're dealing with the end of the world and then you're still tired as well.
Right. And on your first day on the job, like, can you imagine what that's like to be like, I am a rookie. I barely know the ropes at all, even where I'm going, and have to deal with the end of the world.
So, question: do you think that Leon had a worse first day of work, or Ethan Hawke in Training Day had a worse first day of work? Who do you think?
Alonzo. Dealing with Alonzo.
Yeah. That's tough.
He gave him, was it like a weed laced with PCP or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna
After getting intimidated by the Hectors.
Yeah, they try to blow it with a shotgun. Yeah, if he hadn't saved that girl in the alley against the bums, yeah, man, that's a good question.
I'm gonna go Ben Stiller and Night at the Museum. That's just like you working a desk job and then you got mammoths moving. It's like I'm definitely losing my job. Teddy Roosevelt's walking around.
Teddy Roosevelt. I gotta say, of course, Leon. Leon had a bit harder, but it's close. It's neck and neck, man. It's neck and neck. I would still say Leon, but it's neck and neck. Well, you got the Otis. Who would you say?
I mean, the obvious one dealt with a really shitty person, other dealt with a zombie apocalypse. Like apocalypse is in the word.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, but Alonzo, I mean, he did say it himself. King Kong.
That's true.
Shit on him. So
I still gotta watch that.
I would like to see him in a zombie apocalypse. I'm gonna see how long he survived. I mean, minus the bullets.
I would, please somehow make a sequel that has Alonzo versus the zombie apocalypse. We need to write that tomorrow night. All right, so we have one last segment we got to do here. It's a little new thing we're doing. Long story short, the lady I'm seeing, she woke me up this morning, and she goes, "Hey," because she works overnight shifts at a hospital. She's an ER doctor. She goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing on the show this morning?" Didn't say hi, didn't say hello, just said, "Hey, what are you guys doing on the show this morning at 7 in the morning?" And I was like, "We're doing Monster Slayers." Her immediate next text was her 5 picks for Monster Slayers. So I swore to her I would put her list on our show, and our wonderful Charlie Wilson was good enough to cut a little intro for her section called
This music just killed me.
Hey, I was so tempted to throw like Boys to Men on there and put like a heart or something on there. I was like, I ain't gonna do it like that. I ain't gonna
that
do
was
it
so
like
epic.
that.
I loved it. I say I hadn't watched her just now. That was fantastic. Well done, Dev. Well done. She will lose her mind when she said. All right. So this is our Doc's picks. This is what she said this week. She said Michonne from The Walking Dead, Tennessee from Zombieland. That's Woody Harrelson's character.
Oh yeah,
Alice from Resident Evil movies. She hasn't played the game.
God, hey, I respect her. I like you. I ain't even seen you. I done met you, but I like you. I fuck with you.
I'm gonna show her the games. I'm gonna introduce the games soon. I'm gonna show her the games. She of course said Blade at number 2, and then her number 1 was Nick. I'm not sure which Nick it is. She didn't say. Nick. From Grimm, the show Grimm. So Nick and Monroe, that buddy cop duo from the show Grimm. She loves that show. So yeah, that's her. That's our first. I'm sorry.
Those some good picks. I fucks with her. I fucks with it.
Yeah. What'd you say?
When I heard Nick, I was thinking like Little Nicky, but not the.
Oof, that Adam Sandler flick.
Yeah,
Does he fight monsters?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our little segment called Doc's Picks. So every week we'll have like her top 5 or what have her choices for whatever we're doing. So yeah, thanks. We've been a little bit long today. Thanks for putting up with all of us, our nonsense and everything else. We had a very fun show. Otis loves skating uphill. If you get a chance, give him some skates. Send all your ice skates to Otis East at 555 Chicago Lane.
Right. Before we close, go ahead, Otis.
I was just gonna add on to the joke. Like he's not wrong. Like I have to make a whole scene about somebody ice skating up here. We talked about it. It's coming. Yeah.
Jesus. Church announcements before we close out. Just got to do our just do for people that are watching us on Twitch or any other platform, and found us in any other platform. If you would do us a favor and go find us on YouTube at the Then and Now podcast. We would love you guys' support. Trying to get these to 1K subs by the end of the year. Well, that's the goal. I'm gonna set it in stone by the end of the year. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that's the goal. And again, we have some amazing books that are already out, made by my friend Otis East and Ethan Murphy in Briarland. It's out. If you guys want to go check that out, I'd appreciate that. I'm pretty sure he would as well. And then we have one more on the way with me and one of my best friends, Jeffrey Pinkney and Son of Shighton. That is also going to be coming out with Echelon G novels. So if you guys want to support us in any way possible, do those 3 things for us. And I greatly appreciate it.
Yes. And speaking of Echelon G novels, as you can see my logo behind me, if you yourself are an aspiring creator, whether you're an artist, writer, just have a story to tell but don't know how to do it, anything in that capacity, just a creative person, please feel free to hit us up at echelongnovels.com. Send us a message, let us know, get in touch with you, give you a completely free consultation, and we can get you started on how to get these things going. So let us know.
Yeah. So thank you guys for your support. We hope for your continued support. And this has been the Then and Now podcast.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Wrong one.
Can we keep
we are.
You're always not going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
It ain't going
See
nowhere.
you.
Every time we talk about Warner Brothers from now on, I have to play that clip.